Hey guys, what's up? I decided I want to do a podcast thing again, but I don't want to do it with a person. I don't know why. Just decided it's never it's never the people when I do these I don't even need these headphones. It's never the people that I do it with. They're never the reason, but I still get like a social anxiety every time I make a time to like do something every week. Um Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I do the same thing when I do Pathfinder and D&D. Like before it, if I'm in a group, like the online one that I did and the one in person, I like get all super weird about it before it happened, which doesn't make any sense. So I decided let's just talk about some shit. What's going on this week? Besides, like every week, what Trump is just always in the news. Always. Literally every single story is about Donald J. Trump. And I don't get the media coverage on it at all. I don't get the media coverage on it, and I don't really get like people on Facebook on either side. I don't get the stuff that they decide like the stuff that all the people on the right that I have, they all try to make the dumbest cases for why we should like Trump. It's never a policy issue. It's always something like making us strong again. Like what? And then on the left, it's always like, let's go after him for the literal dumbest shit. Like the whole Putin thing this week is driving me nuts because, okay, for one, why are we trying to indict Russian dudes? Why are we trying to indict Russian spies? You know, can you imagine Russia just indicting the CIA for spying on them? Of course they're spying on us. Of course they're doing stuff like hacking. But I just don't buy into the whole like Trump's bought by them or blackmailed by them. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. It was all because of the way he acted. Like I think he was just uncomfortable around the dude. Of course, he has all these fucking allegations and stuff constantly. Of course, he's gonna be uncomfortable around them. That seems like such a stupid thing. Like the stuff that doesn't get talked about, like him having, um, you know, business ties there. That's what they need to talk about more. Not the stupid blackmail, Russia, Trump puppetism that they have going on now. I just don't get the stuff that we decide this is the thing we're going to talk about this week. This is going to be the thing that breaks it. There is no thing that's going to break it. There's literally nothing. There's nothing politically that is ever going to hurt him. Nothing does. His approval rate isn't high, but he's in the news constantly. He has so much attention. So much attention. I don't know. Yeah, the whole Putin thing, like, that bugged me. That we talk about that so much. But then he wouldn't answer questions from people the other day. When he was in England last week, when he was in the UK, he just said, "Yeah, you're fake news. Let me talk to the guy from Fox." Fucking train. Always. We get like 2 trains an hour here. That drives me nuts too. Yeah. Man, so I've been going on and I showed this to a kid that works for me. I got like a 17-year-old kid files for me, and my day job is an insurance guy. And he watches Twitch. He knows I stream and stuff. So I just said, I guarantee you right now, if I open up Twitch, go to the IRL section, there's going to be like 6 Russians all streaming a fucking anime in Russian, and nobody's saying anything about it, and they got hundreds of people watching them. And I pulled it up, and sure enough, there was like 5. One of them was watching Naruto, and then a couple of them were watching just flat out movies. That one day, somebody was watching just like Harry Potter in Russian, like a blockbuster. Apparently, they can't just shut down a stream for DMCA. Like Fox has got to like go after them, or Disney's got to like go after them, or what other the anime companies, Funimation or Viz or whatever, would have to actually do a copyright claim on it for them to get shut down. That seems so clear, though. You're just watching a show. Just be like, hey, you can't. At least give them a warning, like, hey, don't do that anymore. They don't. Because I reported somebody, nothing ever happened. They kept doing it for weeks. Finally, I put in a ticket, like asking. I was like, are we allowed to do this? Can I just do this? They're like, we're not allowed to even give you an answer to that question. Really? You can't answer my question? You can't tell me what I can and can't do? Seems so silly. Yeah, I got a buddy coming in all the way from Houston. It's like an 8-hour drive. I think it's an 8-hour drive. 8 or 9-hour drive. Coming to hang out for the weekend. That'll be fun. That will be fun. I look forward to it. We're going to the Hard Rock Hotel Casino Saturday. Oh, and they've got this really cool it's called the Max Retro Pub. And they have all these old school arcade games. They got like skee ball. They also had like a Super Nintendo with like a bunch of games that you could play. And it's just a bar, and whenever you get drinks, you get free tokens. If I end up doing another one of these, I'll let you know how that goes. But yeah, we're doing it for, I just turned 31 over the weekend. We're doing it for that. So that's all cool. Been streaming lately. Man, the new World of Warcraft expansion. I say it every time. Like I tell somebody, resub to World of Warcraft. And they're like, what? I resubbed to World of Warcraft. And they're like I just started like doing meth again after like being clean for a year. That is the looks I get from it. Like there needs to be meetings for guys that like used to play World of Warcraft and like EverQuest and RuneScape and shit like that. There just needs to be meetings for those people where they go and they just tell their old stories. But yeah, I look forward to that. New expansion comes out in a month. Need to stream something different. I've been streaming the same game for months now. Man, what else has been in the news this week? It's all just Trump. Oh, there's a Zombieland sequel coming. That's cool, because that movie was awesome. I still haven't seen Ant-Man. I want to see Ant-Man. Like, for some reason, I just don't care about Ant-Man. Like, in the Marvel universe, I just don't, like, I was like, oh, this movie's pretty good, but I didn't really care. But this one got pretty high reviews, so maybe it's more interesting. We'll see. We shall see. I've been doing this thing where I only drink like a night or so a week. Not this week. Not this week, but I have been. Man, it sure makes you a lightweight quick. Like literally if you're not drinking very often, you just get the shit knocked out of you. It makes it real cheap to drink once a week. Like, yeah, that 6-pack was good for me. Then you up it any bit more than once a week, and tolerance kicks in pretty quick. Man, school's about to start soon again. Jeez, this summer has flown by. We're almost to the end of July already. By the way, speaking of July, I think it's like 110 today. It feels so hot. Let me check. me check what the temperature is. It was so humid today. I guess it's only 101. Feels like 109. Jesus Christ, man. It's so freaking hot. I always am worried every time somebody comes to visit me from a different state that oh, yep, this is gonna be the weekend we get tornadoes. And when you get tornadoes in a state, it's never like 2 tornadoes. It doesn't happen like that. It's always like there were 48 tornadoes last night. I think actually back a few years ago we had the big Moore one that just devastated Moore, Oklahoma. That one, I think there were 80 something, like 88 tornadoes that day. And I think we hadn't had any yet that year. That was the first day of tornadoes of the year, and it was pretty late. Like it was in June or late May. No, it was late May. And then boom, 88 tornadoes. You like your town? Boom. Tornado. Luckily, I live in like a little valley here. So I've not even seen a tornado since we've lived here. And we've lived here 5 years? Jeez. Owned my business for 5 years. That's crazy. 5 years is the longest thing I've done besides go to school. And even at that, I never went to a school for 5 years. You know, high school was like 4. Middle school was like 3. Before that, I switched schools in elementary. Like I went to one school in kindergarten, and they were like, "We're gonna hold you back," because they just held everybody back for maturity reasons. By the way, come to find out, what would I have been, 5 at the time? Come to find out, about 10 years later, all of a sudden our football team is really, really good, and our seniors are way freaking bigger than everyone because they're all 19 and they've got an extra year of puberty to grow. They started being able to grow and start working out when they're in 7th grade. They're freaking 14. Bam, puberty hits them. They got 6 years to just power through. I wonder if that happens here. This is a wrestling town where I am. Probably not as much because you don't need to be, big for wrestling. You need to be bigger for football. And we weren't even a big football team, but I swear that had something to do with it. I don't think that was on purpose. I think that was just a time back in the early 90s where that was right about when or before Adderall just started getting thrown out like candy to everybody. And they were like, what are we going to do with this new generation of children that grows up on 24-hour TV? By the time I was in 3rd grade, granted I'm 31, and by the time I'm in 3rd grade, we've all got Cartoon Network. Just literal kids television 24 hours a day. And granted, back then it was like the whole Hanna-Barbera stuff and the old Warner Brothers stuff. So it's just Bugs Bunny and the Flintstones over and over and over and over and over. Oh, I remember they used to have a thing, June Bugs. I bet nobody remembers this. Maybe somebody remembers this. June Bugs. And the whole month of June for 30 days was just old Bugs Bunny cartoons for a whole month. The whole month of June was nothing but Bugs Bunny all day, every single day. I don't remember what year they got rid of it, but at some point, they started producing all their own stuff. That was the cartoon. That's where Dexter's Lab came from. The Powerpuff Girls came from that, and it was like this little segment that they started. The weirdest thing, I remember watching it at the laundromat. We had a washer and dryer, but for some reason, I think we just get behind because being a parent of a young kid and working all the time, you just get behind on that stuff. I think we just get behind and go to the laundromat, or maybe our water was hard, or I don't know why we went to a laundromat, but I remember we didn't have satellite at the time Because granted, I didn't have cable because I lived out in the country. So I lived out on the farm. So we had this, before satellite, we had a 30-foot antenna. Literally a 30-foot, just giant antenna above our, starting from the ground up to our house to get any channels. Maybe I was older than, no, I had to have been in like 6th or 7th grade when we got that. And it was called Prime Star. Dude, I'm about to Google that just so I can see the image. I think Prime Star got bought out by DirecTV. I think. Pretty sure. We had that because we moved when I was in 3rd grade. Okay, so I would have been the middle of 3rd grade. I moved towns, and we ended up moving back. But I moved towns, and I remember when we moved to this new place, we had satellite. Now we had never had it before that because I lived 10 miles out of town at least. I lived a mile from any house at all. And I lived like 6 miles from my grandparents. Well, they were also farmers. My dad's a farmer, grandparents farmer. And when I was like 6, I like got on my bike at like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night in the middle of fall when it gets dark at like 7:30. And I just got on my bike. And I almost made it all the way to my grandmother's house. Like, you're talking 6 or 7 miles. And I'm like 6 years old. My parents freak out, get in the car, and they just go looking for me. They're like, you don't think... Because they checked the neighbor's house first. Because I would go over to the neighbor's house, and she, like, old lady, bake cookies, super, super sweet. And I'd hang out there. It was always some cool stuff there. Or I'd literally go down to the creek and just, like, hang out. Because... I mean, I don't have TV. I don't think I had a video game system at the time. Probably didn't. I think I had a computer, but it like didn't do anything. It was just like Tetris was the limit of things you could do on the computer. I don't even think we had internet. I think I just had a computer. And I just decided, let's just drive grandma's house because she's got Cartoon Network. DirecTV or something. Which, of course, that house now that my grandmother lived in, now my parents live in, the big, like, homestead. But when we moved, then satellite. And got introduced to what everyone else had with their cable. The 24-hour news cycles. Which, we see how amazing that's all turned out. Instead of getting news for 2 hours a day, you get it literally all day. But Cartoon Network. And like ESPN. Sports channels. My dad liked that. Of course, we all we really watched was football. And those were all on network TV. So that didn't make a difference. Yeah, I remember when we had the old antenna trying to get good service. Man, and I think 4:30 in the evening, or in the afternoon. 4:30 in the afternoon. On WB, Pokemon came on. And then like at 5, maybe it was 4:30. And then the next one was Digimon, just like back to back. And then every Saturday morning was like the new episode. If you wanted to keep up on the trend, and that was like the first Pokemon, or no, maybe Digimon, yeah, probably more. Digimon was like that was the show where I was like, wait, shows can like have continuing stories? Now every show has continuing story. Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, like every popular show, every one of the HBO shows, every one of the Netflix shows are story driven from point A to point B. But 20 years ago, everything was just a one-off. Like, especially kid shows and sitcoms. Every time was a new story. I think they make a joke about that in like Family Guy or something. Like, oh, if this was a TV show, then by the next episode, like the whole world can fall apart. But by the next episode, everything's back to normal, hunky dory. Then I remember watching Digimon and like I didn't know what was going on because it wasn't on the first episode. I was on like the 10th, and I was like, who the hell are these things? What are these people? Why do they all have goofy ass names? because Pokemon like Americanized all the names in the show, like all of the human names, like Ash, Misty. Like Digimon did some of it, but some of them was like Ty. Like, never to this day have I met a person named Ty. I'm sure there is someone out there named Ty, but that is not an American name, so I just didn't know what the heck. And then Kari, I think, was his sister. Kari? Does that sound right? Kari. Yeah, the names didn't make sense. And so I finally figured it out that, oh, just the show changes every week because it's following a story. That was what I got so into. Because before that, like, the old Transformers, the old, like, all the old shows that are, like, that were, like, made for, like, little boys to watch, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those all would reset every episode. And maybe every now and then there would be like 2 episodes and they were the same story. So at the end of the episode, to be continued. Well, now everything's to be continued. Like everything has an end point to it. Now there's still a few things like Big Bang Theory, some other popular, like the sitcom genre still does that. They don't move forward with their stories. But a few of them even would break that. What was the one? It wasn't Full House. I could see the dude. It was the one Leonardo DiCaprio played in. Whatever. That one had some storyline. Like, it had a start to finish in every episode. But then there'd be like chunks of it where they'd last time on the show and they'd catch you up. Speaking of last time on the show, I tried to rewatch some of Bleach because somebody made like a fan thing for the last arc. And dear God, did they do that so much. Like a third of the episode is the last time on Dragon Ball Z. This is what happened. I'm talking about Bleach though. At least we're 10 minutes out of the 23-minute episode. That's half of the show. It was just recap. And like every 5 or 10 episodes, they'd have one of the big long recaps. I'm like, dude, people, this was in like the late 2000s. People have internet. They can go back and find it. They're not watching this on TV. Not anymore. Speaking of Dragon Ball, new movie comes out January in the US. Going to be lit. I was getting in touch with some people I haven't talked to since like high school. Granted, I've been in high school for 13 years now, something like that. I was talking to some people I have not talked to in a good decade. And we were like, yeah, we're going to go watch that together. I don't know why we didn't for the other two. Because those were in theaters here too. The next one's like hype. Gonna be hype. Animation looks beautiful in it too. Is there anything other politics going on I could talk about? All I know about that I've decided about politics, especially when I follow my own social media, is I don't think people know where, like, and my sister-in-law's like this a little bit. Not anymore. She was. And they don't really know where they're at on the political spectrum. They just say they're on the side of so-and-so because of rhetoric and whatever. But then when you actually start talking about policy issues, like legalize marijuana, like Medicare for all, those two are super, super progressive ideas. And almost everybody my age is for both of those things. We're like, oh yeah, health insurance is a ripoff. Well, yeah, duh. Oh yeah, pot can't kill you and isn't addictive. Yeah, maybe we should give people that instead of literal dumbed down heroin. All those opiates are. They're just heroin. And then when the docs figure out that they are actually addicted now and they're not using this for pain management, they cut them off. You just cut off an addict's drug dealer. Where do they go? Actual fucking heroin. Like, because for one, I think it's cheaper, isn't it? Like, I think I've heard some stats on it's actually cheaper. That's crazy to me. We're okay with just giving people basically opium. Fucking heroin. We won't give them pot, whatever. Even if you hate pot, it's some of the, like, literal just people. Like, people that make me want to take this big mic and slap them on the head with it. Which, that would hurt, by the way. One of the things was like, well, Colorado just stinks now. I'm like, that's what your fucking that's what your reasoning is for keeping something to be illegal because it smells funny? Really? Like, get a good ventilation system. You know? There's plenty of people that, and God, half the time it's fucking people that smoke cigarettes. That's miserable to be around that. If you're not a smoker and then all of a sudden you're around smoker smell, that's the worst smell, period. That's it. Like you walk in a public bathroom, right after somebody takes a shit, that's way more tolerable than not expecting to walk into a house or a car and it just smoke. Because you're like, well, at least the shit, they had to do that. Like, part of your body, man. That was the dumbest thing I've ever said, man. It's up there. It's up there. It's up there. I don't know how long I've been live. Or not live, recording. My old recording thing would tell me how long I've been recording. This one does not tell me how long I've been recording. Oh, by the way, 31, age 31. For some damn reason, when I say it, sounds so much older than 30 did. Like 30 was like, hey, a milestone. We're no longer in our 20s. We're an actual adult now. And then 31 and is like, oh, 40's coming up pretty quick. Ooh. Like, if I live to be 62, which that's not crazy, stupid young. It is young. But people die at that age all the time. If I live to be 62, I'm half done. I got to do some stuff. I got to get out there. I got to start making some more money. Well, keep watching me talk about nonsense for 45 minutes while you're at the gym or while you're in the car or while you're sitting at your computer while you're grinding out some shit on World of Warcraft, whatever the hell you play. Fork a knife. I need to get back into Fortnite. I don't know why. I was damn obsessed with that game for like 2 months. And then one day I was like, yep, guess I'm not going to play it anymore. Like, I did the same thing with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PUBG. I think everybody did with that one. But we just played it. And then one day, okay, not going to play this anymore. We're going to go do something else. Which I still stream every day. I didn't make an announcement. I wasn't like, attention everyone, I am done with this game for a very long time or maybe ever. I was just like, we're not going to play today. And then we didn't play the next day. And then we didn't play the next day. I think that's how, like, friendships die, too. You're not just like, I'm going to stop being friends with this person. Of course, that does happen. That's happened to me before. Being announced that you're not going to be friends anymore, that one hurts. But most of the time, it's just like you slowly stop talking. And then you don't talk at all. And then all of a sudden, then you see some shit on Facebook. And you're like, ooh, they've done some changing. They've done some changing in the thinker. And you're like, wow, I don't think we get along anymore. And then there's some people that 10 years ago, I was like, okay, you're a dipshit. You don't know anything. And you probably shouldn't, like, talk when you're around people because it makes you sound dumb. But then, like, 10 years later, somehow they've, like, figured out life. And now they're totally tolerable to be around. Opposite ends of the spectrum. I've actually watched somebody go from being a Jesus freak, like George W. Bush cheerleader, loving it, to literally the furthest left you could possibly be. Like the far, 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 far left right now. And then I'm like watching it. So it's like watching a train go by. I'm like, oh, it's over here. And then here I am somewhere in the middle. Maybe I'm a little over the left. Some stuff I'm right on. Kind of libertarian stuff. I'm all right on that. Guns and stuff. I'm like, eh. But I'm about in the middle. And then I just watch him just. Like, well, you were okay, bye. So we had like a year where we were like the same. We got along and like we felt the same on political issues. But before, what would people think if they knew that I'm a Jesus freak? And then now we've got a dude that uses the term cis and microaggressions. So I don't. Speaking of the Jesus freak thing, I don't know what the worst Valentine's present's ever been, but I can tell you that getting a Bible was not a fun one. I know it's not Valentine's. I probably need to wait to tell that story, but that has happened. Wow, my phone's just getting lit up. Figures when I want to do something. Yeah, I'm still streaming on Twitch. You can check me out. This is just for YouTube. Maybe I post it on Facebook, something like that. I just wanted a long form thing where I can just get some stuff out of my head. I need to start writing some stuff down, what I want to talk about. I also really, 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 and I've talked to some friends about this. If I can get the balls, I really want to start writing some stuff and maybe try a couple open mics, like some stand-up stuff. Because I think I say some funny shit sometimes. And I want to put myself out there more. I think it would help me just be more well-rounded. And I'm just going to eat dick. I'm just going to go up there the first time. I'm going to try to not let my friends go. Or anyone I know go. I'm just going to go. And I'm going to eat dick a couple times. And then maybe if I can get like okay at it, then I'll be like, oh, hey, you want to come watch me do this thing? I don't know. We'll see. Because streaming is a really good outlet for me creatively. But I've stopped putting work into it. Like, it's set up where it needs to be set up. My little button, my meme machine button, is set up how I want it. What I say to people when they follow. I know what I'm going to say when people follow. I know what I'm going to say when I get $5. I know what I say when people are going to sub or resub. I know what games I'm going to play. Always. And they're not games that people want to watch me play. And if they were, they're not the way that people want to watch me play it. But for my own sake, I've got to play stuff that I'm playing with my friends. For my own sanity, most of the time. I can break off of it sometimes, but most of the time, it's for, I pick the games for me. And I think you have to do that. I enjoy streaming still. I'm just not putting anything new into it. And I've reworked my stream so many times that I don't want to rework it again. I've changed to this logo, the beer cave, even though I'm not drinking as much. I mean, I'm still a beer guy. Still know lots about beer. I've still tried like hundreds and hundreds of beer. I'm just trying to lose a little weight, you know? I'm trying to get rid of the man titties, okay? Which I'm doing pretty good. I've lost about 30-something pounds this year. Well, since April. According to the doc. And I got normal blood pressure. So I may not have to take as many of these if I keep losing weight and keep working out and keep lifting and keep doing the right stuff. And I'm a more boring streamer when I'm not drinking. I'm better at the games. So that part goes up. But I'm not just like funny guy because I'm much more aware of like what not to say. What if I don't drink? One fucking sip of a beer pulls me out of that. And then now all of a sudden I'm like real aggressive with jokes. So yeah. That's why I think if I wrote some shit down, I could deliver it better if I practice. But just like off the cuff stuff, I'm not gonna be funny all the time. At all. I don't know. Tell me if this podcast, whatever, I guess this is a podcast. It's probably just gonna be a vidcast though. It's just gonna be on YouTube. I hope you guys like it. I hope that I tell some interesting stories. And I have quite a lot of stories that I think are interesting, mostly because I have so many friends. Like my friend Centauri. Yes, there's a human being named Centauri. And what is his gamer tag? Centauri. Because who the fuck has a name cool enough to use as their gamer tag? People can't even pronounce my name. And he's also the coolest fucking dude on the planet. He's so chill. But like, he's from California, in, you know, big city California. There's stories that I can tell that I think would be interesting to somebody like that. Like, I say the word rodeo clown when I describe my childhood with my father, because when you're a teenager, the old adage that there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity. When you're a teenager, there is no line. You are both at the same time. Every time you're brave, you're stupid. Every single time. If you're 17. When I was 17, like, I already said, grew up on a farm and stuff. A ranch, had a lot of cattle. This is going to sound so stupid. The neighbor, or our cow got into the neighbor's yard. Or not yard, but like in with his cows, in their field. This mama cow did. Had a baby. Been over there like a damn year. And mean as hell. And we've got to get her back to ours. Because he's just going to get rid of it. Because it's mean. And it's always mean. Nothing happened to it. Also, like, nothing will pull you away from veganism more than the fact that some animals are just fucking assholes no matter what. Nothing has ever been done wrong to them. They're literally just born mean. That's a real fucking thing, which makes me have less hope for humanity. Because if a fucking cow can just be just fucking mean all the time, then people can absolutely just be pricks for no reason. Like, they could have the nicest childhood, the best educators, great parents, and they're just gonna be pricks. But I digress. Need to get this cow into our trailer. So we get it in its own big pen. You know, this is pretty huge. Like, walking across this pen, maybe 50 feet. 50 feet each way. 50 square feet. Next to it's a smaller pen. You know, it's like 10 by 10. And then that leads into the trailer that we have. That we need to get this thing in there. And what happened was we didn't have a horse, and we try to like poke it with the thing or like throw a thing at it, and like go into the thing, and this bitch is like, nope, ain't doing that. Let me just charge at the fence over and over and over. Just, you know, well over 1,000 pounds of just beef coming at you. And so what does my dad decide to do? The great idea. All right, son, why don't you get in there into the big pen and then run into the little pen, and then I'll close the gate behind you, and you like get in and then swing around and then jump back out the other side. And then we'll have her in there, and then we can get her in the trailer. Instead of saying, no, let's like get a horse or something to do this because this thing is going to literally kill me. I was like, oh yeah, sure, that makes sense. Like, God, I was like, yeah, you know, I wasn't fat back then. I was like, hey, I'm an athletic dude. I'll get it. Let's do it. Sure enough, I did it. I fucking slipped. I almost didn't get back up. And if I slipped, man, that bitch would have stepped on me. Could have literally just stepped on my head. Dead. So I get it. So we get it in the little pin. Now we need to get it in this trailer. It doesn't go again. It just won't go. It's just right there. It's just big pin leads into the trailer. Doesn't go. But don't worry. Dad's got he's got a great idea again. Another great idea. All right, so I want you to hop in the little pin and then run into the trailer. And the cow will follow you, trying to murder you. Yeah. Okay, Dad. I'll do that. So in the front of the trailer, once you get to the front of the stock trailer, there's a little like escape chute that opens up. He's like, I'll leave it open. You just dive out. I'll close it. Dive out, and it's like it goes off the ground. Well, I'm like, by the time I jump out, it's like 8 foot off the ground or something. And then I'm diving, literally. I didn't like crawl up that motherfucker. That bitch is chasing me. Well, I get in, and she chases me, and I'm in a trailer full of slippery fucking cow shit. And I don't wear boots, so I got like Converse on or something, because I just don't wear boots. Get in there. Run in, dive out the front. He closes all the gates. We get her in. We go sell her. She's gone. McDonald's has her. Eaten. Wonderful. And I just was like, okay, Daddy. Like I'm fucking 4 years old. Like I'm 17. I'm about to, like I graduated high school when I'm 17. I'm about to like go out into the real world if I want to. Like if I didn't go to college, I could have a family in like 9 months from then. Be married and have a kid and just be plenty of people fucking do that. And here I am. Yes, Dad, I think I'll go in there and I'm going to let the cow step on my head because I'm a 4-year-old mentality. Because brave and stupid are the same damn things when you're 17. Incro's calling me. That's the end of the podcast. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time.